Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, out here with what will be part 1 in the 2022 Tactical Games series. I guess first off we can start with the why. Why after, I don't know, 2 or 3 years? Why get back into it? Why do another one? A couple reasons. Honestly, the biggest one for me is I'll have people still to this day reach out, be like, hey man, I saw your videos on tactical games. I'm going to do my first one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I hope you have fun. Not really sure what it is. Basically, right about the time I left at the end of 2019, I think it was, ownership changed, and honestly, I don't know what it is anymore. I have an idea of what it probably is, but I think things have probably changed. And with that, anytime someone's like, hey, I'm gonna go do this, I'm like, well, that was a number of years ago. Really don't know what it is now. So it'll give them the opportunity to go do one more of them and kind of see how it's evolved and what it's ended up becoming. And yeah, report back to you on that. With that, it gives me the opportunity to go try some new stuff. So I have some new stuff here for this coming game. One thing I do appreciate about these events is the opportunity to try stuff outside of like, oh hey, I went to the range and did some up drills. So get to try new stuff. In part, some sweet new shoes from friends over at Lems. I like their stuff, minimalist footwear, and they've updated one of my favorite shoes. So these guys right here, which are the Primal 2, they're awesome, super minimalist, really small, really lightweight, wide toe box, all that stuff. And so these ones, if I remember which ones they are, Primal Zen. And so basically a little bit meatier sole, which I'm not sure what kind of stuff we're gonna encounter there. We're going to be climbing obstacles or anything like that, but it might be a good thing. And I imagine with this being thicker, they will probably hold up better in rope climbs. This one, I don't even know if they do rope climbs anymore, but this one, yeah, starting to wear through. Granted, I've climbed a lot of ropes in these, but yeah, pretty rough on them. I think the other day, I think it was like 1 rope climb, 10 deadlifts, 2, 10, 3, 10 for like 12 minutes. I think I finished 6, which was like 21 rope climbs. It was a lot, but I got these, so I have some new kicks and yeah, see how these do for me down there. And for my friends over at OTTE Gear, got something cool too. Since at the tactical games, probably the one thing that makes it tactical is you need a plate carrier. I will say, I get it, but something I don't appreciate is it has to be a 15-pound plate carrier. Like, you have to go out of your way in 2022 to find plates that are actually heavy enough to make weight. Like, that's like 2010 stuff. But got a new plate carrier from OTTE Gear. Huh, sweet. Oh, it actually has a placard too. Nice. So that would be the front. But there's basically this placard. It looks like I can remove it. Velcro. So take it or leave it, which is pretty cool because I imagine I probably won't use that much. I'll probably actually just put mags in these cells, more than likely. But yeah, depending on the stage, how many mags I need, this may very well come in handy. But I need some plates, and fortunately, from previous adventures into the tactical games, I have these guys, which are not light. They're like 7.5 pounds or something like that. So again, able to make weight. Chase Tactical, level 4 standalone. So I'll get these set up real quick. There we go. So one thing I do appreciate about this is mesh backer on here, which is pretty important because you know what's important in tactical games? Being comfortable, running around in a plate carrier, and also the fact that it'll be breathable, and looks like the plate pocket does a pretty good job of being able to basically shove your plate up in there and then secure it with the Velcro inside. So it's not sliding around, which is not good. Of course, since there's a Velcro field, you put some sweet patches on there. One of my very favorites, OK Hero. And then Sweet Kit Badger one too. So, boom, ready to go compete. Although, I need to make sure I actually size this thing. So it's nice and comfy, but cool. Stoked on this plate carrier. Of course, I need a pistol, and I was actually talking to Jared, owner of the Tactical Games, who I used to actually compete with. He would come in first and I would come in second, I think in one of the games anyway. And I was talking to him. He ended up buying it. He owns it now. And I was like, hey, like what class? Because I used to compete in the elite. And he's like, don't do it. It's ridiculous now. Like the weights are really heavy. And I'm like, okay, because not showing up to hurt myself. And so now they actually have a tactical class, which is, I guess, in between like intermediate and elite as far as weights and stuff go. But the cool thing there is you can actually have optics on pistols, which they did not have before. So I was like, sweet, I am going to get to run my new F series, which I actually shot at a 2-day class with Amtech shooting. Pretty cool little pistol. Still a little kink that I need to work out on it. But I was going to shoot this, except optic plate did not come in. So holster, everything set up, but I don't have the optic plate. And as of filming this, I'm leaving in like a day, maybe 2 days. So even if it shows up today, I'm not going to go try and get it zeroed and jump through hoops. So we have the other Walther. This one, the PDP, like full size versus the F series. This one I have shot. It's done a good job for me, but I actually didn't have a holster for it. I had a right-handed holster, but not a left-handed holster. And kind of continuing that other strong side journey. So fortunately, I went down to friends, local gun shop, East County Guns. I was like, hey, do you guys have a left-handed PDP 4.5-inch holster cut for an optic? And they're like, let me make a phone call. So local company to me, Carey Concealment. They make holsters, and yeah, pretty stoked on this holster. Like literally yesterday morning-ish was like, hey, and then yesterday evening, actually stopped by the shop, picked this thing up, and there's actually some cool stuff going on with it, which I think will serve me very well in the tactical games. Because I said, hey, listen, like, I don't care, I just need a left-handed holster for PDP 4.5-inch, like, whatever you got, like, thank you. And he's like, okay, well, I can do this, like, what kind of attachment, belt, blah, blah. I'm like, paddle, like, fine, cool, let's do it. He's like, all right, cool, like, I have a good paddle system, works great. I'm like, let's do it. I was like, hey, also is the retention adjustable? Because don't really care how quick I draw this pistol out, but it needs to only come out when I want to draw it out. And he's like, okay. So when I stopped, he had something pretty cool to show me. So on this holster, you can draw it out. There's absolutely retention there, but this piece right here, it levers over. You would be really hard pressed to pull this thing out. So I can have it latch there, run up to the actual firing line, because again, it's not like you're not winning by 1/100th of a second in these competitions. And I'm probably not winning. I'm shooting another strong side anyway. But I'll get up there and I'm like, oh, I would like my pistol to come out now so I can push it back down as I'm trying to catch my breath, draw this thing out, and do whatever I can hopefully do with this when I'm gassed out shooting another strong side. But actually pretty clever. I think it's going to do really good. As far as something else cool that I got in recently and will definitely be nice at the tactical games is these Auto. They're noise barrier micro, I guess it is. These things are pretty cool. Electronic ear pro, and they're in-ear. So amplified, cut off loud noises, but in-ear, which is really nice because while I do appreciate over-ear hearing protection, like somewhere in here, these guys, which are my amps by OpsCore, which work great, comms compatible, all that stuff. One, I don't need comms, and two, these gel cups are amazing, but I looked at the weather and it's supposed to be like 102 and 104 down there in Arizona in like 2 days, which is gross. And I don't really just want to sweat into these gel cups. So these would be pretty clutch. Also, right here, Element. Staying hydrated, super important. It especially will be down there. And it's also really important when you're basically eating carnivore because your body's not holding on to as much water because you're not eating much carbohydrates. So this stuff will come in handy too. And lastly, my long gun. This guy right here, which is by Blackout Defense, which, as luck would have it, is actually located there in Phoenix. Games are taking place, I guess, just north of Phoenix. And so I'm gonna actually go check out the shop day before, like the night I fly in, which should be pretty cool. So I've been spending some time with this gun, shooting on the range, shoot house, kind of stretching it out. Pretty easy to get out at 400, even with just a red dot, little Aimpoint T-2. And this is their muzzle device. It's like a flash hider. Kind of sounds a little bit like a muzzle brake, but there's super specific like rules at the tactical games with respect to muzzle devices and flash hiders. So I'm not sure if that's gonna cut it. So got this guy right here, which is the Mystic X by Liberty Cans, which is pretty cool because pretty much any caliber, like 9mm, 300 Win Mag, 22, like whatever. And you can put an adapter on here so it'll actually mount up on here. Bam. Now I just turned a pretty short gun into kind of a long gun. You're like, damn, that's actually really long. I know. And if you were to have really small hands and hold it, it would look even longer. But it's what I got. So I'm gonna go down there and shoot this thing. Well, actually, other strong side and see what we get. And lastly, yes, shooting other strong side. This will probably be the end. Good capstone for basically a year spent shooting left-handed, like non-dominant. And it's been a journey. But Ivan, wouldn't you do better if you shot with your dominant hand? Probably. Does it matter? No. It's a game, literally in the name. Tactical games. So, gonna go down there, shoot some cool guns, try out some new gear, and yeah, see what happens. So, should be fun. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadge.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.